Good afternoon, fellow Andrew Tucker TV followers. Welcome back to another session, and I hope that you are going to be stimulated by my conversation today. Now, this afternoon, we are going to look at the constituency of that's Westmoreland Eastern. Westmoreland Eastern, that's, the people are running for that constituency. And we know that, the person in that constituency is on the PNP side, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and versus Daniel Lawrence of the Jamaica Labour Party. But recently, I was going through my social media account and I saw PJ Patterson on TikTok, supporting the lie. It's a recent, monologue speech that he made on Dr. Dayton Campbell, definitely supporting his bid for the Member of Parliament, that the comrades will go out to vote for Dr. Dayton Campbell. And I'm asking the question, given the fact that that has been a safe seat for the PNP for years, right, for decades now, why is it that the most honorable PJ Patterson has to send out a message in support of people voting for Dr. Dayton Campbell? Now, in 2023, the Jamaica Observer also published a story in which Dr. Katie Knight was suggesting that it was a shame that the current General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, had not secured a seat for himself and that they had to select a seat, a safe seat for him, not a seat that he had earned in terms of running and won. I think that Dr. Katie Knight was very, very strident about that he was not comfortable with the fact that such a man who has such a very important position, who holds such a very important position in the PNP, had not earned his seat, but had been given a seat. Now, it doesn't seem like the people in Westmoreland Eastern are very happy with Dr. Dayton Campbell. I don't think anybody's happy with Dr. Dayton Campbell, and that's the irony of the thing. Even, from St. Anne, from which he's coming, people were not happy with him. And the people in Westmoreland Eastern are also equally not happy with him. And when I read the responses on social media, many people are saying, even on Instagram, people were saying that the GLP government have done for them, for Westmoreland Eastern, more than in 5 years, they have done for them more than what the PNP party did for them in 18 years. That is what some of the constituents are suggesting. But let us listen to what the Mr. Patterson, Mr. Patterson, that's the most honorable Mr. Patterson, is saying to the members of Westmoreland Eastern. I found it very interesting that he is releasing this very important message. Why now? Is it because they are thinking that Dr. Dayton Campbell is a possibility, that he might lose this constituency to the JLP? I don't know. I think that I leave you to answer that question. But let us listen to what Mr. Patterson is saying.
Citizens, residents, and comrades of Eastern Westmoreland, I regard it as both my responsibility and a welcome opportunity to reason with you as we approach the historic election day on Wednesday the 3rd. In Dr. Dayton Campbell, I see a man whose story reflects the very story of our Jamaica. Coming from humble beginnings, he has never forgotten his roots. He understands that leadership is not about position or power, but about love and respect for the people. That is the foundation upon which he plans to build his continued service. Dayton plans to strengthen healthcare access by starting a mobile health clinic, bringing care directly to our elderly. He knows that caring for our seniors is not a luxury, but a duty. He also plans to advance the development of infrastructure, building on the legacy of service established by myself and those before me. I'm humbled that he seeks to build upon the work that I dedicated my life to achieve. That we are very fortunate to have shadow spokesperson for agriculture. Dr. Campbell places great importance on this sector. He plans to prioritize it as a driver of economic development in the entire constituency, ensuring not just food security, but sustainable livelihoods for all.
Okay, so that is what Mr. Patterson is suggesting here about Dr. Dayton Campbell. Now, Dr. Dayton Campbell is not from Westmoreland, and you really wonder if there was nobody in Westmoreland that would have been competent to have, led out in this constituency. Now, what do you think the people of Westmoreland Eastern think when they have shuttled Dr. Campbell, and he has to be shuttled every now and again back and forth? The constituency. Now, I don't think that they are impressed with Dr. Dayton Campbell. And the only reason why they perhaps would give the seat over to him because it has been a safe seat. But people are wising up now, and they're realizing that many of these politicians are just there when it's election time. And that, when it's not election time, they're nowhere to be seen. And based on what I am reading, Westmoreland seems to have been a neglected constituency. All of that, all the seats in that parish. Is it parish? Yes, Westmoreland is a parish. So we have here the General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, wants the government to build a new high school in Westmoreland. So he's trying to give out some goodies so that he can get there, but he wants to build. Why didn't they build? Well, they're going to tell us that they didn't have the money, so they have to wait until they come to government. And that's understood because he wouldn't have access to state capital. But, all these years, the PNP, 18 years that they were in power for, and they were in power for another 4 years in the 21st century, right? Why didn't they attempt to have built a school? But then you're going to say that it was not Dr. Dayton Campbell who was there. So now that he's there, he's going to build a school. He's thinking of building a school. Further, Campbell wants the institution to be named after former Prime Minister and PNP President PJ Patterson. So that's all what's about. Building a school in honor of PJ Patterson. He was speaking on Sunday night at a party meeting at the Manning's School in Savannah Lamar. He said the school should be constructed in Eastern Westmoreland, where Patterson was a member of Parliament. Campbell is the PNP's candidate for the seat in the next general election, which he is. He said the call for a new high school is a part of a wider move to see increased educational opportunities in the area. We want to see our early childhood facilities in Eastern Westmoreland, and we want to see more primary schools. And we will be doing extra classes and primary exit profile PEPs classes so that the students can get the best schools to go to, said Campbell. Now, they want to do PEP classes and they want to do extra classes. And let us say that, 70% of the students who are doing extra classes pass the PEP. They can't go to all the schools because the schools have limited spaces. And that's why I think he wants to build schools, but he'd have to build up many, many schools or extensions of these schools. And that's a very good point that I should probably raise. And I've been thinking in my head. When we're thinking of building new schools, why don't we build extensions of immaculates, extensions of your castles, or why don't you expand your castle, which sits on a massive piece of land and is not occupying, maybe even 1/8 of the land that it sits on? Why don't we actually expand on that school so that many more students can gain access to your castle, expand on the staff, the teaching staff, and maybe you probably will have to have 2 principals or 2 vice principals, right? Because of the gigantic expansion that you'll be launching. Now, so I think that these are things we can do. All right, so we can make our schools the best and then model. So if you have an extension of Immaculate and the Westwoods and the St. Hilda's, you will have a model of their curriculum and the caliber of students that they receive. Because at the moment, the best students they can't get spaces into all these quality schools. So we need to build replicas of these schools in which we can expand them. And you could have a rural Immaculate or a rural Kingston College. Yeah, you could have it, even though it's Kingston College, but you could say it's an extension of the school that is in Kingston, or Immaculate or Queens High School or St. Andrew High School for girls. Wilmer's boys, you could have extension in the rural areas too, right? Provide more jobs for people, right? And for teachers and as well as for other important workers that see to the day-to-day operation of any educational facility. Now, I don't think that based on what I'm seeing, I think that Mr. Patterson and the PNP team are seeing that there might be a problem with Dr. Dayton Campbell. I think that there is some issue with him, and that is why you're seeing PJ Patterson disseminating a message in support of him. If he were confident that he was going to win, I don't think that he would have done that. I think that it is strategic. Something is happening in Westmoreland Eastern, which suggests that Dr. Dayton Campbell might be challenged or is being challenged for that safe seat that usually went to the PNP. And people are suggesting in Westmoreland that for too long their parish, their constituencies have been neglected. And they think, some of them, that the JLP has done much more. And they think that they might cast their vote for the JLP. Now, I'm not suggesting, because, with the message that PJ Patterson has just disseminated, among other propaganda, or propagandist endeavors that the PNP might be engaged in, the people might just wind up voting for the PNP. However, we have to be concerned that Dr. Dayton Campbell is not the most popular candidate in the PNP. He wasn't popular in St. Anne in terms of his stewardship and his record as an MP. So who do you think? Do you think that the JLP candidate, do you think that the JLP candidate, Daniel Lawrence, will wind up winning Dr. Dayton Campbell for Westmoreland Eastern? Please let me know. And please don't tell me now that I'm biased. I'm not biased. I don't care who wins. The fact of the matter, I'm just asking questions. I would like you to engage, and particularly for those who live in the Westmoreland area, based on what you're seeing on the ground, do you think that the JLP or the PNP stands a good chance of winning? We know that the seat, Westmoreland Eastern, was always been a safe seat for the PNP, but things don't always remain the same. And as the PNP is suggesting, maybe people, on the JLP side or people on the PNP side might say, time come and it's now time for us to change our allegiance to this one-party seat. Okay, so what do you think? Let me know. Please let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining. And please go over also to my Rumination with Andrew podcast on YouTube and subscribe. Those of you who are on my Andrew Tucker TV channel. And remember now to turn on your post notifications so you can be aware, because I've published other videos and you're not watching them. Please watch the videos so that you can be attuned with what is happening on the political landscape, not only in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, and the wider world. Thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you in another discussion.